Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Since the earliest days of Fortnite, finding the best, most optimal keybinds is a struggle many people have had. There are simply so many combinations you can use, it's hard to determine which ones are best for you, and that's why I'm here today, to help you find the perfect keybind so you can focus less on your binds and more on improving as a player. If you go on to enjoy this video, it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe and drop a like, as those both help me out a ton. Anyway, this video will be split into multiple sections. I'll put the timestamp to each section on the screen right now. You can skip around if you'd like to, but I'd highly recommend watching the whole way through to get the best idea of everything. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so the first tip I have for you all is to utilize your mouse buttons, as they are the closest and easiest to reach buttons you have available. Personally, I use the Logitech G Pro wireless mouse, which has two buttons on the left side. I use these two buttons for my building, with the bottom one as my ramp and the top one as my cone. I highly recommend that you utilize these buttons to their maximum potential by using them for building. A while back, when I was newer to keyboard and mouse, I used my side buttons for weapons, and it seriously hindered my building speed as I had 3 of my building binds on my index finger. This is why mouse buttons for building are so crucial. They are simply so much faster due to how easy they are to reach and how close they are to one another. I recommend putting your mouse buttons to your wall and ramp, as they'll be your two most used structures, so it would be obvious to give them the most optimal keybind. However, if you don't like this layout as much, you can also do what I do, with your ramp on one mouse button and your cone on another. Our next tip is to spread out your keybinds. Spreading out your binds is often one of the most overlooked aspects of your keybind selection. Having all or most of your keybinds on one finger will do nothing but hurt you, as putting too much load on one finger will cause more fatigue, as opposed to having each individual finger move around a smaller space. An example of a bad keybind choice is E, R, F, and G. This is a keybind choice I once saw a friend of mine use. The reason this keybind choice is so poor is because the index finger is overloaded while all the other fingers have little to no use. An example of an optimal keybind choice is Q, F, V, and left shift. You can see here that no finger hits more than one key, thus spreading out the load and reducing fatigue, along with increasing the speed at which you can switch between these keybinds. The ring finger hits Q, index hits F, thumb hits V, and pinky hits left shift. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. The distance of your keybinds is one of the main factors that determines the speed at which you can switch between them. Having to move super far to press a bind like Y or H simply isn't a good idea if you're trying to be as fast and efficient as possible. That's why ensuring your keybind distance is close for as many binds as possible is the absolute best way to improve your speed above everything else. A while ago, I had another friend who had T, Y, H, and U for his building binds. First of all, they're horribly spread, with all 4 keybinds being hit with the index finger. But an even bigger concern is that they're all so far away from WASD that it's just a ridiculous idea to use this set of binds. Having to reach across your entire keyboard to press a bind will cause unnecessary fatigue and slow you down a lot. Here's a sort of chart I made to show the distance from WASD to give you a better visual idea of which keybinds you should consider. Green is the best, yellow is decent, orange is not preferred, and red is bad. Take a look at this chart and it can hopefully help you out with deciding which keybinds you want to use. So now that we've gone over the 3 most important aspects of your keybinds, I'm going to go through the keybind setups of a few different pros and explain the pros and cons of their setups. So hopefully you can get a better idea of what you personally like. I'd highly recommend writing down the ones you like and experimenting with them a bit to find the setup you like best. The first pro we'll be looking at is Cloaksy. For his builds, in order, he uses his mouse button for his wall, F for floor, another mouse button for his ramp, V for his pyramid, and T for his trap. Cloaksy's edit button is G, and his use button is E. This set of keybinds is decent, but not perfect. We can see how his spreading is good, with only his floor and cone being on his index finger. However, his edit is G, which is pretty far away and might hinder his maximum editing speed and switching potential. This set of keybinds is good, but not ideal. Our next pro is Liquid Fiber, who has one of the most optimal setups of all the pros I've looked at. He uses his mouse buttons for wall and ramp, with Q for floor and E for cone. You can see how none of these keybinds are hit by the same finger apart from the mouse buttons, which is absolutely fine. He also uses F for his edit button, which is very close, and his scroll wheel for his use. This is easily one of the most optimal keybind setups around, as none of his building binds overlap, his mouse buttons are utilized to their full potential, and all of his keybinds are very close to WASD. If there's one set of keybinds to definitely consider using, it's fibers. The last pro we'll be looking at is Nosh, who's been blowing up recently due to his insane performances in the NA East solo cash cups. His building binds are his top mouse button for his wall, F for floor, Q for ramp, and Z for his cone, which he presses using his ring finger. Alongside this, he uses E for use and G to edit. The main benefit of this setup is how close the binds are. However, Nosh's keybinds are still a bit unoptimal due to his mouse buttons not being fully utilized and 2 of his building binds being the ring finger binds. I really hope this video helped you all out. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this video and what you'd like to see next on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it a ton if you could drop a like, subscribe, and consider using code TECHO in the Fortnite item shop if you'd like to support me even further. Let me know in the comments what keybinds you guys personally like using. I'm really curious to see what you all use. I hope you all have a great day. Peace.